Over to First Alert meteorologist Rob Elvington with the very latest on these conditions. Good evening, Rob.
Good evening, Allison. And there's a look at the College of DuPage visible satellite. This is the GO-16 satellite. This is the same satellite that we often show with our weather reports. And you can clearly see all the smoke from the Carr fire. And you'll notice that the main smoke plume is starting to take off with the Carr fire. A lot of the smoke you see is some of the smoke from last night through the morning hours and into the afternoon. We have that inversion that sets up in the overnight hours. So it takes a little while for sometimes the main smoke plume to take off. Keep in mind, we've got northerly winds closer to the surface or the ground, but as you head up closer to about 6, 7, 8, 9, or even 10,000 feet aloft, the winds are from out of the west and even southwest. So you've got lower level smoke that is dropping south throughout the valley, but you'll notice as the smoke starts to rise, it also starts to move off to the east because of those westerly winds at about 10,000 feet. So that's all the smoke right here. This is all the smoke from the Carr fire. Of course, this is all marine stratus up against the north coast, but we've also got some smoke that's coming from the fires burning in Del Norte County, and then as you head up into southwestern parts of Oregon. These are lightning fires that started about 2 weeks ago, so we're also getting a little bit of smoke drifting in from out of the north from those fires, again burning in southwest Oregon. Hey, let's switch over to our typical weather graphics. We'll start off with the fire temperature product. This is also from the same satellite we were just looking at. This is the GO-16 satellite. This image was taken a little over 30 minutes ago, and we've been showing this over the last few days. When you start to see these bright reds, it's a pretty active fire. So this is still an extremely active fire, still putting out a big heat signature on these infrared products. And what this satellite does, it scans at different wavelengths on the infrared spectrum. So as you start to get it picked up on lower wavelengths, that means it's a more active, a more hot fire. And you'll notice out throughout the rest of the state of California, as you head into central California, you'll notice this little red dot right here. That is the Ferguson fire burning towards Yosemite. So it just gives you an idea of how big and how active the Carr fire is compared to some of these fires off to our south. So by far the Carr fire, the most active fire right now in California. And of course, this is an infrared spectrum, so it's picking up on the heat of the surface. So you can see some of these hotter spots in Nevada. That is, of course, just the heat of the ground because of the sunshine hitting the ground in the afternoon hours. Here's a look at Oak Bottom, and these are conditions as of about an hour ago. It takes until about 10 to 15 minutes past the hour for the new updates to come down. So these are updates as of about 2 o'clock, 112 at 2 o'clock, relative humidity values at 13%. I have not seen a wind direction or a measurement of the wind speed in about 5 to 6 hours. So I'm starting to think that the anemometer connected to this weather station may have gone offline because of the fire or even a power outage. This continues to update, so I do expect this to actually accurately showing the temperature, but I have not gotten a wind measurement in about 6 hours, so I'm starting to think that it's likely offline. Redding also sitting at 112 right now. This is also our warmest high of the year so far. Redding hit 111 yesterday, so we've already surpassed yesterday's high. We've got that northeast wind in place at about 6 miles per hour. Again, these are surface winds. You head up aloft about 10,000 feet in the atmosphere, we have west winds, and then you'll notice the relative humidity values down to 10%, so it is very dry out there. You go back to a few days ago when we had the monsoon moisture in place, our dew points were in the mid-60s, so the dew points are about 20 degrees lower today compared to a few days ago, so that's why the relative humidity values are much lower, which of course has a huge impact on the fire weather conditions with those lower moisture levels in place. Temperatures outside right now, again, 112 in Redding, 110 in Red Bluff, 104 in Corning. You'll notice that Chico and Oroville still holding in either the low 100s or the upper 90s, and that's because Oroville and Chico are actually still in a southerly wind, so they're getting a little bit of that delta influence into Butte County. Still very hot. You still need to take it very seriously. 102 in Hayfork, 106 in Weaverville, mid-90s from Mount Shasta City, 97 in Alturas. And we'll take a look at air quality levels. These are the latest updates. We get new updates down every single hour, and you'll notice everywhere you see red, that is unhealthy. That's unhealthy for everyone. The oranges, that's unhealthy for sensitive groups. So we're talking elderly folks or folks that have lung conditions, let's say with asthma, but red is unhealthy for everyone. And even when you get into the yellows, that's moderate. You still need to take it seriously. Please limit your time outdoors. Of course, it's dangerous with the heat, but also with the air quality conditions. And this is an hourly update, so we get new updates in every hour. So we'll continue to monitor this through the rest of the evening. So let's get to the forecast. This is right about now, and you'll notice it's doing a pretty good job showing single-digit relative humidity values. Again, Redding's sitting at about 10% right now, so that's pretty accurate of what we'll be seeing in the next 30 to 45 45 minutes. And the way we have this graphic set up, where you see the red arrows, these are wind barbs, and we have it set up that only wind barbs show up if it's at or above 15 miles per hour. So we're not really seeing winds above 15 miles per hour right now, so that's why you're not seeing any wind barbs on this map. And as we head through the rest of this afternoon, still not expecting any strong winds through the late afternoon hours. Of course, the relative humidity value is still in the single digits. But as we head through this evening, just like last night, we're going to start to see those winds picking up. And you can see these northwesterly winds for the northern tip of the valley and the surrounding foothills. And that does include the Carr fire closer to Whiskeytown, Shasta, and even West Reading. And those winds are from out of the northwest. So that's going to continue to push that fire east and southeast. That is a huge concern with this fire right now. Of course, the firefighters are working very hard in these just difficult conditions to set up these perimeters. But we've got these gusty northwest winds coming in tonight. The winds drop off in the overnight hours. Humidity values rise a little bit in the overnight hours, but the other big concern, we're only seeing relative humidity values up to about 20% at 8 o'clock tomorrow morning. So we call this poor overnight recovery. This is not what we want to see. We like to see those overnight humidity values increase. And then heading into 5 o'clock again tomorrow, back down to the single digits for relative humidity values. And just like today, we're going to see those winds picking right back up. This is 8 o'clock tomorrow evening. So 2 nights in a row, actually 3 nights in a row, we're going to see those northwest winds picking up. And again, out of the northwest, so pushing the fire east and southeast. Those were surface winds. These are winds at 10,000 feet. So at 3 o'clock this afternoon, we've got west-southwesterly winds at 10,000 feet. So as that smoke rises, it gets pushed off to the east and northeast. And as we head through the overnight hours and into your Friday, this is 4:30 tomorrow, we're still tracking mostly west-southwest winds at 10,000 feet. Again, pushing that smoke off to the east and northeast. But again, that's elevated smoke, not surface smoke. Fire danger rating, this is from the National Interagency Fire Center. This comes down every single day. And you'll notice where you see the oranges and even these dark red colors. That is very high to extreme fire weather conditions. And these ratings are based on the fuels, live and dead fuels, and also the weather forecast. So you take the fuel load that we are seeing in parts of the North State, and then you take the forecast for today. So you take the heat, you take the relative humidity, and of course you take the winds, and that's how they come up with these fire danger ratings. So that's why we're concerned. You'll notice right by the Carr fire, we have oranges and reds, so that's indicating very high to extreme fire weather conditions. A closer look at the visible satellite, and this is almost near real-time data. It's about a lag of about 5 to 10 minutes. So the last frame, just about 5 to 10 minutes ago. And you'll notice how the main smoke plume is starting to take off. Again, we're starting to break out of that overnight inversion cap, so that smoke's able to rise and allows for the main smoke plume to take off. And you'll notice how it was dropping south earlier, but now it's starting to slowly move off to the east, and that's because of those upper-level winds grabbing the main smoke plume and pushing it off to the east. But below this main smoke plume, you still have all that low-level smoke that's in place. And we're also starting to see some of these smoke plumes being picked up by the radar, where you have these darker greens, these darker returns. That's the main smoke plumes. And as we continue to go through the rest of this afternoon, the radar will be able to pick up that smoke plume even better. Dangerous heat continues through the rest of this work week. We have excessive heat warnings, heat advisories in place through tomorrow evening. I would not be shocked if some of these products are extended into Saturday and Sunday, because even Saturday and Sunday, we're still tracking highs near 110 for parts of the valley. And even into early next week, we're still tracking highs close to 105 for places like Reading. Allison?
All right, thank you very much, Rob. Now, we are live streaming right now on Facebook, and a lot of you guys have asked about the boil water notices. These are notices, and they have been issued at the Centerville Community Services District and the Clear Creek Community Services District. They have both issued boil water notices. So, and you can get all the latest information on this fire